Imagine a Superman so raw and intense that the producer behind the project pushed for an Oscar-winning actor known for his brooding villains over the wildly charismatic Nicolas Cage. Talk about a casting choice that could have totally flipped the script on the Man of Steel. If you're a fan of superhero movies, you've probably wondered what could have been with the legendary unmade film Superman Lives. Buckle up, because we're diving into this fascinating behind-the-scenes drama that reveals just how eccentric Hollywood dreams can get. Let's set the scene with a nod to modern cinema. In the closing moments of Andy Muschietti's 2023 box office disappointment, The Flash, our speedster hero, played by Ezra Miller, races at breakneck speed and tears through the fabric of time, landing in a bizarre alternate reality. Suspended in this tiny, otherworldly bubble, Barry Allen gazes up at a mesmerizing, colorful vortex in the sky that offers glimpses into countless parallel universes. Among the Easter eggs, he catches sight of various Batmen and Supermen from different eras, like the campy Adam West version or the classic George Reeves portrayal. There's even a heartfelt tribute to Christopher Reeve and Helen Slater from the iconic 1978 Superman the movie, and its 1984 spin-off, Supergirl. But the real head-scratcher? A fleeting vision of a Superman resembling Nicolas Cage, locked in an epic clash with an enormous spider. That Nicolas Cage Superman cameo is no random joke. It's a clever wink to a nearly forgotten Hollywood what-if. Back in the mid-1990s, director Tim Burton was brought on board Warner Brothers to helm a dark, edgy revival of the Superman franchise, tentatively called Superman Lives. For more on why it all fell apart, check out this deep dive. https://film.com/1935182 Why Nicolas Cage Superman Lives cancelled. Overseeing production was the powerhouse Jon Peters, a major player in Tinseltown with some seriously out-there visions for The Last Son of Krypton, one of which involved a massive arachnid showdown. The project advanced far enough that a screenplay was penned. Cage was officially attached to star, and concept art for his suit was created. If you search online, you'll find those eerie test photos of Cage suited up, looking every bit the brooding anti-hero Burton envisioned. Much of what we know about Superman Lives comes from two key sources: the 2015 documentary The Death of Superman Lives, What Happened, by Jon Schnepp, which pieces together the chaos, and the colorful, often hilarious tales spun by writer Kevin Smith. Smith was briefly brought in to polish the script, and his accounts have turned into must-hear lore for comic book enthusiasts. Peters' peculiar fixation on giant spiders has become infamous, detailed in interviews and now immortalized in pop culture nods. In a 2023 chat with The Hollywood Reporter, https://www.hollywoodreporter.com/movies/movie news, Kevin Smith, Superman Lives writer, reacts to the Flash cameo 12355213112. Smith shared his joy over the Flash tribute and dropped more juicy Peters anecdotes, including the bombshell that the producer originally eyed Sean Penn for the role of Superman. And here's where it gets truly wild. Jon Peters had some ideas that would make any traditional Superman fan do a double take. For starters, he wasn't a fan of the character flying, which is basically Superman's signature move, arguing it felt too unrealistic even for a superhero flick. Imagine explaining that to a newbie. Superman soaring through the skies is what makes him iconic, right? Skipping it would be like Batman ditching his cape. Peters also took issue with the classic blue and red suit, preferring the hero to ditch it often for more grounded scenes. Think shirtless brawls, or everyday disguises as Clark Kent. He even suggested adding a humorous, queer-coded sidekick, inspired by the sassy character Smith created for his 1997 indie hit Chasing Amy, a film that explored LGBTQ+ themes in a fresh, heartfelt way. It put real pressure on stars like Ben Affleck from the get-go. https://www.film.com/918708 chasing Amy put pressure on Ben Affleck before filming began. But the crown jewel of Peters' quirks, a brutal gladiator-style battle pitting Superman against a colossal spider in an ancient arena, turning the film into an unexpected monster movie hybrid. Smith has regaled audiences with these stories during panels, podcasts, and tours, painting Peters as a visionary with a twist. In his Hollywood Reporter interview, he spilled that Peters was inspired by Sean Penn's riveting turn in Tim Robbins' 1995 film, Dead Man Walking, a powerful drama about capital punishment that earned Penn an Oscar nod for portraying a convicted killer with haunting depth. As Smith recounted, Jon Peters was like, "I want Sean Penn to play Superman." He had just seen Dead Man Walking, and he goes, "Look at his eyes in that movie. He's got the eyes of a violent animal, a caged killer." And I was like, "Bro, it's Superman." So he's like, "Who do you see?" I always loved Nick Cage, so I was like, "Nick Cage loves Superman. He talks about knowing the comics real well. You guys should go after Nick Cage." And so when Tim Burton got hired, and suddenly they were going with Nick Cage, I was like, wow, I had an idea and somebody took it seriously. Now casting Sean Penn as the wholesome all-American farm boy from Smallville does sound like a stretch. Penn's career is packed with intense, morally complex roles, from fiery activists in Milk to gritty survivors in films like the upcoming One Battle After Another, where he chews scenery as a formidable antagonist. https:/film.com/1977397 One Battle After Another Best 2025 Movie Villain. Cage, on the other hand, brings that high-energy, larger-than-life vibe that could inject some fun heroism into the mix, even if it's an unconventional pick for the Boy Scout archetype. But this is the part most people miss. Would Penn's edge have made Superman more relatable in a darker, post-9/11 world? Or would it have alienated fans forever? Of course, as history tells us, Superman Lives never took flight. Pun intended. The production imploded due to creative clashes and ballooning budgets, with Smith long gone by then and other writers cycling through. Peter's spider dream seemed doomed. Until it wasn't. In a twist of fate, he channeled that obsession into producing the 1999 steampunk adventure Wild Wild West, starring Will Smith and Kevin Kline, which climaxed with a showdown against a massive mechanical tarantula. Peters finally got his 8-legged spectacle, just not with the Man of Steel. Smith used to poke fun at the spider fight idea in his retellings, calling it comically over the top for a Superman story. But watching the slick CGI recreation in The Flash, where a Cage-esque Superman grapples with the Beast, changed his tune. Despite the film's overall flop status, director Andy Muschietti has defended it amid backlash, including controversies around star Ezra Miller. https:/film.com/20046 The Flash director defends DCEU bomb, addresses Ezra Miller issue. Smith found that sequence genuinely thrilling. He told THR, "One of the first things I thought when I saw it at the premiere is, God damn it, the giant spider would have worked. As much as I used to make fun of Jon Peters, that looked badass. You know what? He wasn't wrong. Like it totally could have panned out." In the years since Superman Lives bit the dust, the franchise has undergone multiple revamps to keep the character fresh. There was 2006's Superman Returns, which served as a loose follow-up to the Christopher Reeve era, building on 1980's Superman 2 with Bryan Singer's nostalgic touch. Then came Zack Snyder's 2013 Man of Steel, reimagining Superman as a more conflicted, godlike figure in a gritty universe. And now, James Gunn's 2025 Superman promises a brighter, ensemble-driven take. Each iteration explores unique angles on the Kryptonian hero, from vulnerable alien to symbol of hope, and boasts dedicated followers. Yet strikingly, none dare to include that infamous giant spider brawl. And this is where it gets controversial. Was Peters onto something with his monster mashup, blending superhero lore with creature feature thrills? Or would it have cheapened Superman's legacy? Do you think a Penn-led version could have been a bold evolution? Or is Cage the only wild card that fits? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Agree, disagree, or share your own dream casting.